Hi, my name is Venus Jones. Welcome to Waging Peace Through Poetry. It is December 28th, 2014, and Abarakani. It's Kwanzaa time. Today is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. And my thoughts about today is that this principle is one that I do need to work on. I think about the difference between Umoja and Ujima. Umoja being our first day of Kwanzaa and it meaning unity. What is the difference between unity and collective work and responsibility? For me, the difference is knowing that sometimes there are people in our community that want to be helped, and there are those who do not. Collective work and responsibility means that we need to have discernment, and we need to know when to help someone who is reaching out and when to know that you are enabling and possibly not helping at all. So collective work and responsibility also means helping by asking hard questions and engaging. I'm not always the best person for that. It's something that I have to work on. Engaging with my fellow friends, family members, and just people who may know of me, but I may not know much about them. So collective work and responsibility, those are the things that come up for me with this principle. And telling our stories is also something that comes up. So the poem of the day for me is one that I wrote called Telling Time that I want to share. And it makes me think about how often being responsible also means learning from other people's mistakes. And you can't learn from someone's mistakes if they don't share their life lessons. So this is a poem I wrote called Telling Time, which speaks about the journey of a people. But it also speaks to the fact that it is time to tell one story. Always when you know you have a listening ear. Telling time. I would love to tell you the story of my people. Sometimes when I ask Grandma, she shoos me away. And just like that, it can be uncomfortable. The various African folk of my respective families derive from the empires of Ashanti and Zulu, I suspect. Many of our secrets and lessons they kept orally in fear that the written could be stolen again. So they spoke in coded tongues when drums were forbidden. Some hid their pain in vocal tracks full of tears. Their spirituals were very clever, with meaningful melodic messages most masters couldn't even follow. The bulk of my family kept picking cotton in the red hot sun on plantation fields. I can feel the beads of sweat on his brow. My forefather lifting himself up in June without any boots, shoeless, welted scars on his back, taking a chance meant his life. And with our motherland removed, we were free to be ghetto, a gutter, a dark abandoned building, cold like gray skies. They sought to burn black growth like oil. We carried on with our business in flames, on without horse and buggy, to dodge those who sought to jail every free Moor and Mason, striving on Black Wall Street. We watched ourselves growing up and apart in two different playgrounds, in unequal classes, where drugs grew like flowers, where jealousy and envy bloomed between us. For many, restoring African culture faded to fancy cars and silver linings, because white-collar crime is less offensive, and it's a tradition to separate us from family. We're in the same boat, the good ship Jesus, where the good folk are found on the Sabbath sailing around the promise of justice in heaven. Blessed are the peacemakers. Meanwhile, we're sinking in sand, like natives, those American Indians we were forced to fight back. My ancestors were herding into military rank because Uncle Sam called when we survived. Historically changing minds, drunk on determination, and that chump change often altered events. But they returned to no saviors. Welcome. So just like those indigenous people on reservations, we know our ghettos are contagious. My grandfather took his Purple Heart to lunch counters, still seeking equality in doo-wop bands and basketball courts. He wandered through states and cities, neighborhoods and apartment flats, searching for his own acres and homestead act. Lost his dream near pulpits and political platforms. I still carry his biggest burden in my mental backpack. My only prized possession I inherited, much to my mother's dismay. I turned out to be a poet, charting my own path, so she's still humming gospel hymns. And no, I don't have any children to give away to bullies, yet I'm raising my very own. Hand to the sky. Without Willie Lynch's theories holding me down. Did you know that a thought is quicker than a bullet? And sometimes I wish we had more time to talk.